You may have seen that Alex Pretti's family was willing to come forward and speak out about the murder of their son by Customs and Border Patrol agents. And I want to share some of that interview with you here now. Maybe we can just sit and watch it together. And then I want to talk about it.
Why? What did he do to deserve to be murdered?
Nothing.
To left cold, on the ground, dead. My child. What did he do?
It was all over the news. We watched it.
We watched it.
We watched it on TV, and it's like, that's our son. That's Alex. And they killed him. No one called us. No one...
we still haven't heard from him.
Yeah, that's how we found out. Watching it on TV, watching our son be shot 10 times on TV.
In the back.
In the back.
Trying to help someone.
Trying to help somebody.
Trying to help someone.
And being beaten with tear gas canisters, sprayed with tear gas.
With a camera in one hand and his left hand
empty
in the air.
January 24th, Alex Pretti, a 37-year-old American citizen and ICU nurse for the Department of Veterans Affairs, was shot and killed by 2 federal immigration officers in Minneapolis. Roughly 2 weeks after Renee Good, also a U.S. citizen, was shot and killed by an ICE officer during Operation Metro Surge, a federal immigration enforcement campaign by the Trump administration. Eyewitness video shows Pretti recording when a federal officer shoves a woman into him. Pretti appears to try and help the woman. Both of his hands are visible, one holding a phone, the other held up to protect himself from pepper spray. Then he's wrestled to the ground. The 2 federal officers seen here pointing their guns at Pretti. His firearm, which he had a legal permit to carry, was removed by an officer while Pretti was on the ground, and before 10 shots were fired.
Something that should not be happening in this world today in the United States.
We want justice. We want accountability for the people that did this to Alex.
Who was Alex?
He was a good man.
He's a good kid.
He cared deeply about his community. Minneapolis was his community. He wanted people to be treated fairly, no matter what walk of life, what their background was.
You call Alex your hero.
I do.
Why?
Because of who he was as a person. I aspire to be like him. He always stood up for what he believed in.
I was not shocked that he helped somebody. My shock is that he was murdered, and no one has given us the complete truth, or anyone has been held accountable. And it's been 7 months.
First off, I'd like to commend Alex's family for being willing to sit down for that interview to share their pain with the American people and with the world. Their grief is compounded by the fact that those who are supposed to pursue justice are sitting silently on their hands and doing nothing. No one has been charged in the murders of Alex Pretti or Renee Good. No one has been charged in the murders of any person who has been killed by ICE or Customs and Border Patrol agents. There's only been one charge against a federal agent in Minnesota for lying, right? He accused immigrants of coming at him with brooms and snow shovels, and he shot a man in the leg. He lied under oath about that. So he got caught for lying to a judge, not for shooting an innocent immigrant. None of the violence that's been committed by the American Gestapo in the United States has been prosecuted by any state or county or local agency. Nobody in government has our backs at a state and local level when it comes to defending us against the violent crimes that ICE is committing in all of our communities. There have been a record number of abductions by ICE agents. It's happening much more quietly, right? It's not looking like Metro Surge. Tom Homan, he said that they were going to be more subtle. They were going to be more crafty. They're snatching people from the side of the highway. They're snatching people early in the morning. They're snatching people from their work sites, right? They're taking people where it's much more difficult for the public to witness what's happening and intervene on their behalf, where it's harder for Americans to defend their immigrant neighbors against the violence and lawlessness and brutality of ICE. We heard all of this bluster from Hennepin County that they would thoroughly investigate and prosecute crimes. The entire nation the entire world saw both Alex and Renee gunned down in cold blood. We have all watched their murders on a loop. We know what happened. There have been no arrests and no prosecutions at all. Their murderers are still running free. As far as I know, still working for Border Patrol, still being paid by the American taxpayer to terrorize communities across the country. I couldn't find any evidence online that Jesus Ochoa and Raimundo Gutierrez have been removed from Customs and Border Patrol. After they murdered Alex in cold blood in the street, they were put on leave and reassigned somewhere else. But as far as I can find, please correct me if I'm wrong, they're still getting paid by us, the American taxpayer, after they shot Alex to death in the street. Likewise, Jonathan Ross, who murdered Renee Good in the street in Minnesota, is still working for Customs and Border Patrol. These men have not been relieved of their jobs. They've not been fired. They've not faced any arrest or prosecution, no accountability, and no justice. Hennepin County, what are you doing? Local law enforcement, local prosecutors, what are y'all doing to hold the line for democracy, to advocate for justice for the members of your community? Part of the reason that we are so unsafe all across the country when it comes to the lawlessness, unhinged, out of control behavior of the violent paramilitary of Donald Trump, right, is because local law enforcement is afraid to do anything. State law enforcement is afraid to do anything. They're often in cahoots with these guys, right? Local and state law enforcement. Here, like Portland police, they fucking love ICE, right? They're not doing anything to protect us from ICE. These guys all have solidarity with each other. But what about the district attorney's office? What about mayors? What about governors? We see these promises, right? We see local electeds trying to say the right thing to appease their voters and keep their approval numbers up, but we don't see arrests and prosecutions. We don't see our local communities, the people that we voted for, right, standing up for us and our rights. We see Alex's family on TV begging for justice, decrying the fact that this ethnic cleansing is still going on. These murderers are still on the streets, and more people have been murdered since both Alex and Renee's lives were taken. The ethnic cleansing in this country has ramped up. The violence has ramped up. The lives that have been snuffed out, the families that have been destroyed, it's only continued to escalate. And where is the resistance locally and on a state level? Where are the wheels of justice turning? Because we don't see it. We don't see arrests and prosecutions. We see timidity. We see a lack of courage. In a moment when the defense of democracy is coming from the people, and we know that people in elected office are overwhelmingly going to put their jobs first. They're afraid. They're afraid to stand up to Donald Trump. They're afraid of escalating conflict, right? They're afraid of making the situation worse. The timidity is part of the problem. It's up to us, the people, to be brave and be bold. But still, we can't get the kind of justice for Alex and Renee's families that they deserve. It requires arrests and prosecutions. Our part as the American people comes in the form of a jury trial in terms of our role within the justice system, right? In terms of interfacing with the justice system. But from outside of it, we as American citizens should be pressuring our state, county, and local officials to do the right thing, to defend us, to uphold our rights to get justice for us. In terms of our role as Americans, in terms of our duty to Alex and his family, to Renee and her family, to all of the immigrants here and their families, we the American people must continue to organize. It's not just going to be voting in the midterms. Yeah, we have to vote all these fuckers out. We have to vote in folks who will abolish ICE, who will work for justice, not folks who are willing to play the same old politics as usual, not folks who say things like we just need body cameras for ICE, people who understand that this is a violent, lawless, out of control group of men, and they serve no purpose other than to inflict harm, and therefore ICE must be abolished, DHS must be dismantled. It's our job to organize, to vote for the right kinds of people, and then to make sure that those people are seated. We must continue to drive all of this change because our elected officials, they're not going to pursue justice. It's up to us.